Money, money, money. Well, Tony, we do know that winning the lottery is a dream come true, but there are actually some challenges that come with winning the lottery, and I think that's what we're going to talk about today on episode 19 of Win Me the Lottery.
Yeah, I was thinking a lot, about the lottery as usual, and I've become so obsessed with winning millions that I forgot that there's actually a major flaw.
What is it?
That there are things money can't buy.
There are things that money can't buy. And that's what you're going to think about, because people win the lottery, they think all their dreams have come true, all the problems are solved. No.
Yeah.
You need to account for what are the things that your newfound wealth will not help you with.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, we're just saying that winning the lottery isn't going to solve all your problems, that some of them will still persist and exist.
And think of this podcast as a self-help book, so that you're aware of the things that you just need to consider when you are a lottery winner, which everybody listening to this podcast will be. And that's going to be our topic of the week this week. Things that money can't buy, Tony.
But before we get, obviously, into that, there was something that I read online that I think is quite close to my heart, Chris, and that's...
Arsenal?
That is that, and in a way, it's kind of connected with Arsenal because Arsenal does affect how I feel about myself and how my day goes, whether they do well or they don't do well. Obviously, we're on a quite good run.
Wow, it's a bit scary because we're playing you next weekend.
Yeah.
It's Newcastle Arsenal.
I think it's going to be another 5-0, I reckon.
It could, well, that's what I'm worried about, because it was 6-0, 5-0. But anyway.
So... basically, I just realised it's actually Self-Esteem Month.
The band.
Is there a band called
Yeah,
Self-Esteem?
there's a great band, Self-Esteem. That lady.
Oh, isn't
Rebecca
there like...
something.
Wait, isn't there a... What's that punk band that's got a song called Self-Esteem?
Oh, I don't know.
They did Pretty Fly for a White Guy.
Oh, Offspring.
The Offspring.
The Offspring, yeah,
yeah, it's
right.
got Self-Esteem. Yeah, that's a good... It reminds me of Nirvana, some of the riff.
Yeah, we need to play that again. I can't remember.
But yeah, so it's Self-Esteem Month, and I think self-esteem is very important.
Yeah.
It really plays a big part on how you feel day to day, but also your kind of progression on whether there are opportunities you pursue, whether you have a good relationship with a potential partner, with your friends, family, and even your kind of career.
Didn't we touch on this last week on our Valentine's Day episode of the greatest love of all is learning to love yourself? And it really is true, because you won't be able to fulfill anything you want to do in your life unless you're happy with yourself, because those problems are going to keep coming back, and then you can't be happy with anybody else. You're going to be complaining, moaning all the time, Tony.
Yeah, and I think it's good that we have a month dedicated to self-esteem because
they're such a good band.
They're a good band, but it's something that I was thinking about literally the other day, about how I feel about maybe talking to someone in public, or my new boss, or, just people in the workplace, but also just confidence in myself just going through life. And this is going to sound really trivial, but I was watching a show on Netflix, and it was kind of horror themed. And there was it wasn't really that scary, but there was a scene in it, and I was like, oh, okay, that startled me. And I was, it's going to sound like a kid now, I was trying to get to sleep, and then I was actually getting a bit scared because it's the dark, and I was thinking about that scene. I was like, if I never watched that, I never let it influence, seeing that in my mind, why am I scared for it? Like,
it's illogical.
It's just illogical. It's like when you overthink stuff, it's like, it's just yourself doing it to yourself, like just overthinking stuff, and then it affects you, whether I want to get up and get a glass of water. I'm too scared, and I think it's completely normal to be afraid of the dark. I don't know about you, Chris. Are you afraid of the dark?
Back in the day, absolutely. And it depends on the setting. Are you on your own? Are you in the middle of the countryside in a deserted house, a deserted mansion? Yeah, I think then you might get scared. With the trees blowing, there's a big storm outside. Maybe you've heard on the radio there's a murder on the loose. My
parents are next door, Should I?
In that case, probably not.
I think the point I'm trying to make...
More irrational in that way.
Yeah, it's about sometimes you're having irrational thoughts, whether you are influenced by what someone said about you, whether it's something that you've witnessed or watched, and it's completely valid to feel these things, but sometimes it's like, let's put that to one side. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And as long as you have a good view of yourself, it's really all that matters, really. Because nobody really cares about you in that
Nobody
sense.
cares that much about anybody else unless they're a real loved one or best friend. So particularly... And what I always say, if somebody ever says something nasty about somebody else, they're not happy with themselves, and it actually reflects far worse on them than it does on the other person.
It's like when you get older and you meet some old people that are like absolute sweethearts, and you've got some people that are just generally really grumpy.
Belligerent.
Yeah, it's like, how do they
dinosaurs.
How do they get like that? Do you reckon it's a self-esteem, or they just...
I think usually if people aren't friendly to you, it comes from self-esteem issues on their part, or perhaps even jealousy. They see somebody else that has qualities that they don't have, and that's why.
Yeah, very interesting. So, I think if we connect self-esteem to money and winning the lottery...
Would that boost your self-esteem? That's the thing. You think it does, but it won't. I can tell you that right now. It might help in certain areas. It might give you some confidence because you know you can kind of back it up.
Yeah.
You can now mix with the high rollers. You can buy everybody around at the bar. But I must say, for longer term, it's not the answer to everything, Tony.
I believe that there are rich people who have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
I mean, not to sound too dark, but there are rich people that commit suicide. You'd be like, why are they doing that?
I mean, Epstein committed suicide in the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Officially.
Yeah. Cool. So if we move on to this week's lottery numbers. So what was the jackpot? So the jackpot amount was 4 million.
Oh, back down to 4 million again.
It's affecting my self-esteem, isn't it?
Yeah.
What were the winning numbers? So it was 5, 19, 28, 39, 41, and 42. And the bonus ball was 43.
Such a lot of numbers at the higher end there, the higher band.
Yeah, 41, 42, I haven't seen that so far. Machine name was Lancelot, and ball set 11.
11? Wow.
What were our numbers? So they were 2, 4, 10, 30, 40, 50.
So we banked on them all being even numbers, and in actual fact only 2 were, I think, there. Mostly odd.
Yeah, we actually didn't get any matches this week, but neither did anyone else. So there were 0 winners for the jackpot. So
no one, that's what we were saying, nobody would go for that unusual set of numbers at the top. That 39, 41, 42, 43, the bonus ball. Interesting.
They did seem a bit too round, didn't they? But you never know with these numbers. So that was 4 million. Still not winners. So I don't know how that's affecting your self-esteem there, Chris.
It hasn't affected me one bit because I'm great now at putting up the barriers. I'm not going to care about things like this. But I must remind everybody, you can get in touch with the podcast. So you can reach out to us through TikTok. Search for Win Me the Lottery. Instagram, search for Win Me the Lottery. You can DM us on there. We're on YouTube. I don't believe you can message us on YouTube, but you can add a comment, which thousands of people do in their droves every single day. Or you can email us as well, Tony, on...
Tony.win... Actually, was it Tony.win@gmail.com? It's been a while. Yeah, Tony.win.lotto@gmail.com.
Perfect. And I think we might have had an email this week.
We certainly have. So this one actually really made me chuckle a little bit.
When this one came into the inbox, because we get a lot of emails. Yeah. Some of them are quite vanilla. I don't want to call anybody out, but this one from Kevin, it made me sit up in bed when I actually opened it.
And I think it's really letter of the week, isn't it? Or email of the week. So Kevin from Bracknell emailed in saying that he doesn't feel like he's missing out on Valentine's Day. So obviously Valentine's Day was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we obviously did an episode on it, really talking about Valentine's Day, the commercialization of it, if people actually still celebrated it. So clearly it kind of struck a chord with Kevin. And he said, I have been single all my life and I am in my 40s. I'm saving a lot of my money and investing heavily so I can retire early while other people are wasting their money on Valentine's Day, eating out and going on holidays with their partners. He goes on to further say, I mean, he's really got his kind of life sorted, it sounds like. He says, I want to retire within the next 5 to 8 years as my mum would have passed by then.
Oh my God.
And head to Thailand to finally settle down. I mean...
Where do we start with that? I mean, the mum bit, it was all sort of okay until the mum part.
Yeah, I think he's at that age now where some people actually, I remember, when you're single for so long, that, if you're in your 40s, you'll be like, oh my God, I should be married with kids, I should have this and that. But clearly he's got his priorities right in terms of his finances. And it's true, if you have kids or you start going out enjoying life, you are using a lot of your income that you could potentially put in the market to make you quite a handsome return.
And maybe that's what Kevin's been doing.
So clearly his priorities, it sounds like, is that he's investing for now to enjoy it in his 50s, 60s.
But, what can't money buy you? We bring it back again of your health.
Yes.
So if you reach your 50s, is he going to have his health intact? Has he enjoyed himself up till now? It's a lot easier to enjoy yourself in your 20s, 30s, health-wise, and...
You're more mobile.
More mobile. Maybe finding someone as a partner is a bit easier when you're younger.
But it's not wrong. I mean, he's living his life a certain way. And I think it actually makes me reflect on, enjoying the here and now. He's clearly going, you know what, I'm going to wait till later. And sometimes you've got those people that are really aggressive savers, that they go like, save.
Don't have a single bit of fun.
Don't have a bit of fun, and they're like, then I'm going to enjoy my golden years. Each to their own, I would say.
You don't know the hour or the minute, Tony.
Yeah.
One day you're fine. We're sitting here doing this podcast. We could go out there, cross the road, we're hit by a bus. We could be struck down. I said to you, I've had dengue fever before. I'm going on holiday soon. What if I get dengue fever again?
Yeah.
Second time around, you can die.
Yeah.
So am I really going to put my enjoyment aside until I'm in my 50s? My 60s? Hell no.
I think there needs to be a balance. I think he should enjoy something a bit. I mean, he's in his 40s.
Kevin, I'm going to say no, you're an idiot. I know you're a valued listener to the podcast, but this is just foolish. The only thing I will agree with Thailand, I know some people obviously looked and I'm going to retire in Thailand. Greatest country on earth, alongside the UK. Fantastic place to live. Friendliest people in the world. Best food, great weather, beautiful scenery. What more do you want?
It's interesting. Why does he's out of all places? Why did?
Because it's beautiful.
Do you reckon he's going there for the food?
I think it's probably the food. I think the people are incredibly friendly.
Yeah, but clearly he said Thailand to finally settle down. So it's like he might finally get married in his 50s or his 40s, late 40s. So,
and I hope the lady is of a similar age bracket.
Yeah, I think love comes in all different types of legal ages.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
yes.
So Kevin, thanks for sharing that. And we wish you well in your...
I don't. Because you're stupid to me. No, I'm kidding. We absolutely wish you well in your future endeavours. Get back in touch. I'll give you some tips for Thailand.
Yeah, and I'll just say, just head to Thailand for a holiday now.
Just scope it out, at least. I mean, this is your future.
I think his close circle of friends have probably given him the idea of Thailand, and he's like, yeah, that's where I'm going to head.
What group of friends are these? Are they from a ring or
I don't know?
Just a normal friendship group?
I'm assuming it must be from his friends.
Okay.
Middle-aged guys. That seems to be a popular destination.
Bold,
possibly. Yeah. And they seem to travel by themselves a lot.
Criminal records?
Possibly.
Hopefully not. Yeah. Hopefully not.
Would they be allowed in Thailand with criminal records?
I think yes.
Okay.
I hate to say it. I'm not sure. I think it depends how many years since the crime was committed.
Depends what type of crime as well.
Because I did live there. And okay, we can't get into it for legal reasons, but there were known to be certain people out there who you wanted to avoid who may or may not have had a criminal record in the past.
I reckon drugs is probably going to be a big one if you traffic drugs.
Yeah.
We're on to our topic of the week.
Topic of the week, which is things money can't buy this week, Tony.
So I find this topic really interesting.
Engrossing.
Because that's all I've ever thought about is money, you know. I want to buy this house.
You're a materialistic guy.
Yeah, I want to buy this car, I want to buy these clothes, I want to go here, I want to go there.
Yeah.
Here you go, here's some money. You can do those things.
Yeah.
But what are some of the things, no matter how much money you have, you just can't buy it?
And this is just so crucial, Tony, because we are going to win the lottery, and I keep saying it. You kind of think it's the answer to everything, all your prayers.
Yeah.
But there are so many things that actually, maybe even you can use this money in a constructive way to help support this. Mm-hmm. But you mustn't forget about these elements which you're going to have to prepare for if you do win the lottery.
Yeah. And I think the first obvious one to talk about is time.
Yeah.
Can you buy more time?
Well, this is actually a really interesting point, Tony.
Yeah.
No. And do you remember Bernard's Watch, which was a fantastic TV show? And I always say, if you had the genie in a bottle, you have your one wish or your three wishes. I'll go Bernard's Watch, where you can just stop time. You can go and do whatever you want. And of course, Cher sang about it. If I could turn back time.
Yeah.
You can't at this point, as far as we know.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure we probably have listeners who can get in touch and tell us about time travel that they've successfully done.
Yeah.
But as far as we know right now, it's not possible. And my goodness, is it a valued commodity?
You just brought me back with Bernard's Watch. I remember watching that and just fantasizing about it. I mean, I've seen some videos online.
What, like stodgy
I saw some
versions?
Japanese adult videos. That was
With
like
Bernard's Watch?
a similar thing.
That
but anyhow,
sounds illegal.
Anyhow.
But on that point, you know that guy, and I've forgotten his name, there's a bloke who is trying to buy youth. So he's trying to buy time, if you like, in terms of his youth. And that's the bloke who looks like Gollum. You know who I mean? He's like...
Oh.
He's a billionaire, millionaire.
Yeah, he's got like long hair and stuff.
Yeah, and he just looks awful.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work, in other words.
Yeah, I mean... I don't know. Is it possible for a time machine? Potentially. I don't think it's going to be... How long until that happens? We'll be gone by then.
It depends, what do people want? Do you just want to go back and live in a different era?
Yeah.
Now, maybe for a few hours, I want to go back and see medieval times. I want to go and visit the Roman Empire, because they were so ahead of their time. I want to go back, Plato. I want to meet Plato. There's things like that.
It sounds like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Exactly. Or is it just about aging? Anti-aging, so reversing that Benjamin Button sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because that's two different things.
Yeah. And I, in a way, yeah, so you can't buy time, so you've got to really appreciate the time that you have, enjoy it with your loved ones and your hobbies.
I want to go to Jerusalem.
Yeah.
I want to go to Nazareth on the day that Jesus was born and see if he really existed.
So you really want to go back in...
Well, no, these are the different things that you might want to do.
Oh, right.
But if I did that today, I'm still going to be me at the same age as I am now.
Yeah.
Or do I want to reverse age?
Yeah. So I think the age thing, you probably definitely can't buy more time, but I think winning the lottery is something like we are getting time back from working and doing the things that we do want. So
you get more. Well, that's a really good point. Yeah. And this is what we're going to do here. We're going to go through all of these and we're going to find constructive solutions that maybe it's not the answer, but having those millions will help you with.
And I think the next one is obviously... Actually, what would you say about health? Can
Well, again,
can money buy health?
It's partly.
Yeah.
You know, of course it can't, because we don't know. You know, you're not in complete control of your health, Tony, and you could be... It's all about chance, right?
Yeah.
What is the chance of me getting skin cancer right now? I use factor 50 all the time, blah, blah, blah.
Even in the winter?
Well, whenever it's above UV2.
Oh, right.
Which it's not at the moment. But you know, you can do everything right, and you're incredibly unlucky and you get skin cancer, or whatever it might be. You or I could be struck down. You know, they're professional athletes.
Yeah.
The Luton player the other month who collapsed on the pitch. Czech Tiote, Newcastle legend. In his 30s, he just collapsed and died.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a few of those videos of those football players just dropping
Christian
dead.
Atsu, another Newcastle player who was killed in the earthquake in Turkey.
Wow.
So, you know, these are professional athletes. They've done everything wrong, tip-top condition. So it can help to some degree because you've got access to the best healthcare in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a guarantee. But as I say, if you won the lottery, think about healthcare as well.
I think you can get, obviously, a more comfortable kind of... private healthcare, you get dedicated, but it's still, it can't save you.
Getting monthly checkups.
Yeah.
You know, you just get monthly. How difficult is it to get an appointment at the GP at the moment?
Yeah.
But if you've got access to that much wealth, you just have monthly checkups. You can fly out somewhere else to a private hospital.
Yeah. One of the things that I started looking at online was just to see what were some of the comments about, what things money can't buy. And one of the top comments I saw on Reddit was a personality, which I thought was like, oh yeah, that is quite an interesting one. Can you buy a personality? Probably not.
It's a bit of a philosophical discussion of what is your true self? What is your identity? And we're all born with, and what's that one of The Onion? Do you remember the American psychologist who said, I know it's in Shrek as well, but it's the American psychologist who said, we're all born with the inner or central onion, right? That's our personality, that's our true self. And over time, as we experience different things, we add additional layers. And indeed, those layers make you conform to the society that you live in. So what we need to work on is just peeling back those layers and revealing our true selves. And so, you know, that's just another thing. And winning the lottery can be part of that as well, Tony. You can get carried away.
It might reveal your true personality.
It might reveal, or you might get so into that high-flying lifestyle that you're just out champagne all the time. You just get too into all that lifestyle and you forget who you really are. I don't know. There's two different ways. Or your real personality comes out and you've got time to focus on the things that matter to you. But this is another key approach. When you win the lottery, be aware of all of that.
Some people might actually go, see you later, everyone. I never really liked you anyway. And actually, now they've got the means to actually live the way that they want and be quite selfish. Who knows? I mean, that's definitely not me. Next one that I had, that I saw was mental stability. So this is an interesting one. So someone was saying that you may be able to pay for therapy or meds, but that doesn't mean it will work. It's a long process that you need to find what works for you. And sometimes nothing works because we don't have enough information. So that is so true. I think your mental stability, your mental health really comes from, maybe working on yourself, really kind of finding out what is causing this instability, whether it's something that's affected you when you were growing up or something that's currently affecting you now. And sometimes it's unfixable sometimes.
I mean, Tony, dare we say it, if people go through the darkest trauma in their childhood, for example, it's really difficult ever to be able to fix it with however much money you've got. But once again, this helps. You can pay for the greatest therapists in the world. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was quite an interesting one, that, having millions of pounds in the bank may not change, may not make things better for you. So it's almost being prepared for that.
Experimental drugs.
Yeah.
Access to, and I read a really interesting article recently about mushrooms.
Oh, yeah.
Of these high-performing individuals working in the UK who microdose on shrooms all the time. And we don't condone, because it's illegal, and we would never condone it on this podcast, but, you know, they actually say, look, I've quit alcohol, I've quit all the rest of it, I'm just microdosing on shrooms, I'm really healthy, I go to the gym all the time, I'm out running, and it really opens your mind up.
Shrooms.
So I don't, listen, no comment, because it is illegal, so I have to keep repeating that. But it's just another idea.
Yeah, I think, you definitely have the funds to experiment quite different sorts of things to see if it helps your mental stability.
Cognitive therapy, or was it, you know, just therapy is obviously the starting place.
Yeah, you know what you could probably spend on? Just have people just like pay for actors just to go, you're the best. Just like throughout your day, just walk around just going like, Chris, you are the best.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
Just, I think it all goes back to that thing, the onion. Be your true self. Don't put your guard up.
Yeah.
And people will appreciate you. Unless you really are a belligerent old dinosaur, grumpy.
What if your true self is where you are the bad guy? That is your true self.
Well, that's really worrying, but here's another philosophical debate. Unless they have a mental condition, is anybody truly bad? For example, they're a psychopath. Or
there are bad. And what about serial killers and stuff?
Well, isn't that proven from the research done by the FBI? Yeah. Have you ever watched Mindhunter?
I haven't watched all of it.
And that's a brilliant show. She's never been cancelled. And I think essentially the work that they did, I think FBI or CIA, whatever, they actually had a division there who looked into it, and almost every serial killer had childhood trauma. Which is what I was talking about. So are people ever born inherently bad?
It's that nature and nurture thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is it. You know, it's the onion, it's Sartre, Nietzsche, those philosophers.
I'm pretty sure that there is a serial killer that has not had childhood trauma.
So we need to look into this.
I need to look into that.
Yeah. No, it's actually a really good point.
Another one I just wanted to mention was someone says that, you know, money can't buy a dinosaur.
Yes, that is true. But you can buy an artifact, you know, an old...
Has this person not seen Jurassic Park?
Well, that is
still possible,
I
believe.
Yeah.
But was there anything that you wanted to kind of cover that was like, you think money can't buy? And I think love is always
love, genuine connections. So I'll put in, obviously, love being at the top of that tree, Tony. Yeah. But just any kind of genuine connections with other people. You can have all the millions in the world. And it's another thing we have to be aware of. Because once you've got loads of cash, suddenly everybody's drawn towards you. How are you going to make sure that it is a genuine connection? Yeah. And that's why we talked in the past about cover stories, Tony.
Yes, we did. And, you know, one of the things that I did think about quite a bit was that I'm so happy that I'm on the journey with you, Chris, is that if we do win, we'll keep each other in check.
Yeah.
We'll go, look, let's not do the shrooms. Let's not overdrink.
I know they're illegal, but we'll consider if they happen to be legal in the place we're in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think definitely those genuine connections, personal connections, love. The other thing I want to talk about, Tony, is purpose.
Oh yeah.
And I think we just touched on that earlier, briefly. Again, I'm going to say it again. Peel back the layers. What is our true sense of self? What are we interested in doing? So the moment we win the lottery, we bring it back to that. We don't get too attached to all the different opportunities we have access to now with some of those temptations, right? And so what are the things you want to do? What are the things you believe in? Maybe there are some good causes that you believe in. And money can't buy you purpose, but it can help you focus more on what your purpose is. Do you see what I mean? You know, what are the things important to you? Obviously, from your perspective, FIFA, for example.
That is, you know, that's been a 10-year journey. That is. I don't know if money can actually make me win.
Well, you've been in Division 1 for ages, haven't you?
Seasons, but I don't think all the money in the world. I mean, if I could focus full-time, get FIFA Ultimate Team trainers, maybe that could finally buy me winning Division 1 and FIFA Ultimate Team.
And imagine if you then set up your own academy to help less fortunate people be as good as you are on FIFA.
No, I probably wanted to do that. I want to cherish in the winning.
They might beat you by the end of the academy. But yeah, that's one. The other thing, well, obviously we said about turning back the clock, but another one for me is knowing what other people think. Imagine how easy life would be if every time you walk in a room, you know what somebody thinks. Your boss.
Oh.
It might actually make you more anxious or lower your self-esteem, if you knew what everybody thought. But most of the time, people might actually love everything you're saying. They might think you're amazing.
But then they act like they don't, and then you would know somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did put a comment in Reddit one of the times where what would be an interesting stat to know about someone. I said how attractive they are to you.
Yeah.
And imagine
we've said that on our dating app.
Yeah, that would be
If everybody went round on the dating app and they were like, right, you're a 7 to that person, you're a 9 to them, or you're a 1 to them. Okay, you just ignore them.
Yeah.
That'd be quite useful, wouldn't it? So yeah, just knowing what other people think. I mean, it would really help you in life because, let's say in your career, or let's say you've won the lottery, you're pitching a business idea, you can just swerve straight past the people who aren't interested. You go right for the people who actually are.
Yeah, how you can influence, the people that are generally interested, right?
So yeah, those are all the things. I mean, there's a lot of things that money can't buy, and all of these things, passion. What about that? I think that's quite aligned to the purpose. But I think that's what I mean. Figure out what is your purpose when, or even before you win the lottery, and you are going to be passionate about those topics.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would probably mention I think it's with the people around you. You can't really buy, those deep relationships with your friends, and most importantly, I would say your parents.
Family, yeah.
Family. It's like you only have one set of parents. I mean, for those that do know their parents, some people don't. But
I mean, some people have 2 sets of parents.
Do they?
Stepmom, stepdad.
Oh yeah. So I would say your time, with your parents, you've got to cherish them. And that's not to say that people that stay at home all the time is they're choosing to cherish their parents and not move ahead with their lives. I'm not saying that. It's just sometimes we don't know what we have until it's gone, type of thing.
Always. Always.
And that's
treasure and cherish every single moment because it will go at some point.
Yeah, it's so true. But yeah, I think that's some food for thought there.
We're all dying. We're all dying. Some of us faster than others. But I think it really is a great thing. And I come back to these sort of philosophical things of let's enjoy, because we can go chasing things all of our lives. But at the end of the day, are you ever going to work out everything by the time you die? Maybe on your deathbed, that's when you'll have that realization. Let's enjoy things right now. Let's be appreciative of what we've got.
Yeah, No, I agree. Like Kevin, I think he's an example of
from
who emailed in. He was like,
I thought you meant Kevin from The Office. Was his name Kevin?
Which
the
one
guy was like Keith.
I don't know. I forget. Oh, Keith. I know Keith in the UK. I'm not familiar with the US one because I think the UK Kevin, one. UK one is better in my opinion.
Say it again. We need to clip this for TikTok.
Office UK is better than American Office.
Okay.
You don't agree with that?
I love them both. I think most people do prefer the US one because it's just, again, it's one of those things. It's a bit more accessible. But we'll come on to this a little bit later because one of my next week's numbers is related to a similar topic. So we'll actually get onto that. But yeah, I think enjoy yourself. Have faith in your own convictions. What's that thing from Sartre, the other philosopher? I'm getting into this today. I'm going to butcher the quote, but it's something like freedom is choosing what you want to do with what other people do to you. And it basically means, you're in control of your own destiny. Do what you think is right and don't be too influenced by what other people say about you or do to you.
That is true freedom, not caring what people say.
Yeah, we'll find the real quote by the end of the podcast.
Right. if we move on to picking next week's numbers.
Segment 3.
So the first one that I had is actually it's quite dramatic actually when I read it.
Oh
so
my good God!
we've just got over COVID, right?
Yeah.
And if I said to you, what happened in London hundreds of years ago?
Oh, the Great Plague, the Black Death.
Yeah, you know, I thought you could say the Great London Fire.
Yeah, that was the next one I was going to say.
So this is quite worrying. So this is in America. So Oregon's first case of human plague in 8 years likely came from a pet cat.
Only 8 years.
So it seems like there's a case of plague, which is the first time I've heard of it. But it's actually quite worrying when they call it the plague. So I thought that didn't exist anymore. But it's actually one of the things that is probably the scariest things with humans is that, yes, you can get worried about getting hit by a car, getting murdered, but dying from a horrible disease is actually one of my biggest fears. I don't know about you, Chris.
But it hasn't entered my head, I must admit. But you're right. I mean, you're absolutely right.
The owner's infection likely started out in a lymph node and progressed to the bloodstream, a county health officer said. It's a cute-looking cat, but obviously it's kind of caused a lot of trouble with this plague. So health officials announced that a resident of Deschutes County, a rural part of Oregon, was diagnosed with plague. That's a bit generic. It's just the plague. Marking the state's first human case in more than 8 years. The person was likely infected by their pet cat, who had developed symptoms according to Deschutes County Health Services. It also goes on to say that humans are most commonly exposed to plague from the bites of fleas carrying Yersinia pestis, the bacterium that causes the disease. Household pets can get also infected if they hunt rodents infected with plague or similar bitten by infected food. This goes back to the Black Plague in London. It wasn't the rats, it was the fleas on the rats, wasn't it?
The fleas on the rats. So it's the fleas that are the big problem, but your household... But, isn't this all about keeping your household pets clean?
This is one of the things...
Keep your pussy clean. Yeah, that's what they always say.
And you're completely right, Chris, because I love cats, but I'm always worried about getting bitten by one and the infection she can get.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's got, a cat that's going to stay with her in a few weeks.
Oh, has she?
Yeah, we've obviously met before, but it's like...
What, you and the pussy?
Yeah, the cat. The cat.
Pussy cat.
And it's one of those things that I don't own pets. You have pets, Chris?
No, my parents have a fantastic dog, Cocker Spaniel Bruce.
Because at the end of the day, they do get into, they go off and they go into bushes.
Especially cats.
Kill rodents. They bring it home as a present. They go, look what I've killed for you.
Sir.
But plague. So 8 years. So that was... So
your girlfriend's bringing some pussy around. Is it next week, you said?
Yeah, I think it's in a couple of weeks.
You've already met that pussy?
Yeah. I've met the cat like twice.
Okay, so you've... Twice?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So 8 years is so the number I'm going with is.
I just can't believe the plague is back. But I guess it's just one of those things you associate it with that historical event, the Great Plague. But actually, plague is literally just this disease caused by fleas.
Yeah, I just think of death and destruction, don't you? Think of plague. The next one is about one of my favourite foods.
Yeah.
But it's not one of my favourite restaurants. It's about Domino's Pizza.
Well, we established this a few weeks ago, didn't we? That your favourite pizza in the world is Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Which, as I said, I still haven't tried pizza. I know you told me to. Is it that different to Domino's Pizza then? Is it thinner?
Well, Pizza Hut you can get thin, but you can only get deep pan. I always go for the deep pan.
So you go deep pan, okay.
Domino's Pizza, I can't describe it. It's just...
Poor man's Pizza Hut.
Yeah, it just doesn't have enough... The flavour's different, the texture and all that type of stuff. But here's a very strong reason why I don't like Domino's. And listen to this. Domino's Pizza apologises over viral video of employee touching dough after picking his nose. Oh, there you go, that says it all. Do you want bogey flavoured pizza?
Don't know. It might be quite nice.
So... Obviously, this is actually horrific if you you order a lot of fast food. You want your food to be prepared, in a clean environment with people that actually have sanitary training, health, food health and safety.
I would say, number one, get the gloves on.
Yeah.
Number two, get a tissue.
Yeah.
Number three, step outside of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Number four, blow that nose.
Yeah.
Dispose of it. Dispose of the gloves. Go back to work. Wash your hands with soap for 30 seconds. Then use the disinfectant as well.
Do you have food and health and safety?
I've had health and safety training. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So the audacity of this is that you've got a Japanese, basically, worker.
Japan, I'd have thought better.
Yeah, I would have had better standards, really.
Yeah.
So this Japanese worker in Domino's picked his nose and just stuck it in the dough.
In the pizza.
And he's cracking up about it as well. And so it's got to the stage where it's gone viral, and now Domino's has to kind of release a public apology on its official X account, formerly Twitter. But it's something that, I'm not saying it plays in my mind, but you're always worried about someone doing something to your food. That's why I rarely send food back if I'm not happy with it, in case someone does something.
You never know what they would do, yeah.
But I don't know what your thoughts are. Do you ever do that?
No, I don't think I've ever sent it back. I have had bad food before.
Yeah.
But, this is a trusted brand as well.
Yeah.
Domino's. And it does make you wonder. Are people doing this to the food we eat? And let's say, you're on holiday.
Yeah.
Not really. Some people I know, they make their own food. Go back to an Airbnb or whatever. Not me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out and sample. And, there have been times, usually we will curate, whoever I go with, wherever I go, we'll curate a list of the places we want to go and eat. But even the best made plans don't always go according to what you want, right? So, let's say you arrive later because the plane was delayed. You get to the hotel, you're starving, you want to get something to eat really quickly, and you just jump into the first one with a 4-star review on Google Maps. And it's not really that nice. What have they done to the food? We just don't know. And that's a fear. I know you have this fear, don't you? So, Tony, you tend to prefer trusted brands.
Well,
or chains because
it's standardized. Sure. It's standardized. So you would expect, Domino's Pizza is a massive brand. It's
Has this put you off that approach?
Well, I'm just saying that I hope it's an anomaly has happened.
Is it? I don't know.
But on the other side, we might actually, this 15-second video of this male employee picking his nose with his left index finger off his gloved hand and then proceeding to wipe it on the pizza dough. Maybe that's the secret ingredient with Domino's. Maybe they revealed the secret ingredient. Who knows?
But, the one thing I will say in favour of these trusted brands and chains, if this had happened in a random pizza place in Japan, would we be hearing about it now? In just an independent pizza shop? No. I don't think it would have gone viral at all.
Yeah.
So in your defence, with these chains, I think they're held to slightly higher standards.
Yeah.
But, we don't know. We don't know what people are doing in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Without anybody able to see.
It's so true. I think there's... I think Domino's has a lot of work to do just to gain that trust again. And, the article does actually end that they've actually kind of nipped it in the bud, and they said that the pizza chain location suspended its operations. So they said, look, we're not releasing any more pizzas. And on the same day, fired both employees on Tuesday.
Good.
So I'm guessing it's a person taking the video as well as the one picking the nose.
Not funny. Counterpoint.
Yeah.
If you've got an independent restaurant,
where
you've got an owner who's putting their blood, sweat, and tears, not literally into the pizza, but into the business, right? And then you have people passionate. Let's go back to that term, passion.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got Domino's, minimum wage, bringing anybody in, it's standardised. Anybody can do it. It's easy.
Yeah.
They haven't got that passion. They're more likely to be messing around like this.
Well, yeah, I think food it's it's a sacrilege if you're willing to cross that line to actually.
It's about love and care and passion, like I said. That's what it's all about. Food. It's a craft. It's an art form.
Yeah. Would people in Japan be worried that? Okay, so they let it settle down after a week or two. They go like, fine, it's just a very rare incident for this to happen. I'm actually going to order my favourite pizza from Domino's. And they order it, and they get it, and says, it just doesn't taste as good now. So they're like, maybe something's missing. So maybe that's why they're successful in Japan, is that
this
that's
guy
the secret ingredient.
Putting it in. It probably is true, Tony. It probably is. I might just add a note next time I order. Please, can you stick some snot in this?
Sometimes, there's no such thing as bad PR. Maybe now I'm thinking about Domino's, I might get one on the way home. So the number I'm going with is 15, as it was a 15-second video that showed the infamous male employee picking his nose.
Nose joke.
Yeah.
A nose joke. I don't know if that one works, but...
So the last one from me is back to America, actually. So it's actually about a loophole.
I love those. Are you talking about a time continuum loophole?
It's actually about kind of getting away with something. It sounds like fraud, actually. So the title actually says, a loophole got him a free New York hotel stay for 5 years. Then he claimed to own the building.
Oh my God, what is this website? That is the worst clickbait headline I've heard in years.
This is actually AP News.
AP News, Associated Press?
Yeah, I believe
Are they stooping to those depths now?
A loophole got him a free New York hotel stay for 5 years. Then he claimed to own
I hate that.
Exactly.
The first sentence is fine, but then when they add to it with this vague seconding. But anyway, I'll let you go through it.
So from what I'm deciphering from this article, it says, for 5 years, a New York City man, and don't get me wrong, a New York City rent is freaking insane, isn't it?
Too expensive.
Managed to live rent-free in a landmark Manhattan hotel by exploiting an obscure local housing law. But prosecutors this week said Mickey Barretto went too far when he filed paperwork claiming ownership of the New York hotel building and tried to charge another tenant rent. Oh wow! So he's gone for the offensive.
Yeah.
So it's, no, I own
he went on the front foot.
Yeah, I own this building. That's why On Wednesday, he was arrested and charged with filing false property records. So they do check these things. But Barretto, 48, says he was surprised when police showed up at his boyfriend's apartment with guns and bulletproof shields. See, they don't play around. As far as he's concerned, it should be a civil case, not a criminal one.
I've just read the next sentence. Great quote here.
I said, I thought you were doing something for Valentine's Day to spice up the relationship until I saw the female officers.
I like this guy, Barretto.
Barretto recalled telling his boyfriend. So Barretto's indictment on fraud and criminal contempt charges is just the latest chapter in the year-long legal saga that began when he and his boyfriend paid about $200 to rent one of the more than 1,000 rooms in a towering Art Deco structure built in 1930. Barretto says he has just moved to New York from Los Angeles when his boyfriend told him about a loophole that allows occupants of single rooms in buildings constructed before 1969 to demand a 6-month lease. Barretto claimed that because he paid for a night in a hotel, he counted as a tenant. He asked for a lease, and the hotel promptly kicked him out. This is about a non-story, really.
Yeah, well, it's like if it's built before 1969, then if you are an occupant of a single room in a building, you can demand a 6-month lease. But what's that got to do with free for the rest of his life?
This is actually quite confusing. I think he's managed to stay there for 5 years.
Can I just say, Cedar Atanasio, who wrote this article, you are an absolute tosser, mate. Because you've written the worst clickbait headline, and then you haven't even explained it properly in the article.
Yeah,
and you've ruined our podcast.
No, I just guess he just managed to live rent free for 5 years, and now he's not getting away with it.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, Cedar Atanasio, we're going to get in touch with you. You're absolutely hopeless.
So that's number 5 there.
Number 5. All right. Well, I've got a lottery one for us now, Tony, and this is the number 54. So, Family win £100,000 on scratch card thanks to craving for Tesco sandwich. So I had to include this one because it combines two of our favourite topics, the lottery and meal deals, or part of a meal deal. So a family has won 100 grand on the National Lottery, all thanks to craving for a sandwich. Rebecca Fraser and her husband Nigel were shopping in Tesco when they decided to buy a pigs in blanket sandwich and some Jolly Sevens National Lottery scratch cards. Rebecca, who's 54, gave each family member a scratch card to play with during their Christmas dinner. And this is great because we went to my sister's for Christmas, my parents and everybody. And they gave us all a scratch card. And I'm still carrying around the scratch card that I won on.
Oh, right.
Lottery scratch card at Christmas. I should have said this right away. I won £1 and it cost £1. But I've still got it in my pocket because I think I can take it in and claim my winnings somewhere. Too.
Get another scratch.
Get another
scratch card. £1.
Get another scratch card. But listen to this. I won £1. This family, they basically all won. They agreed to share any winnings and were thrilled when they scratched off a £2 winner. Then they scratched off a £4 winner. And finally, a £100,000 winner. So they've won £100,006, Tony.
Wow.
Which is really good. But it was all thanks to a pigs in blanket sandwich. And I have to say, we've been talking about what is your sort of pick on the meal deal. Because the context of this, if you haven't been listening before, is builders, I think, are the demographic or manual labour workers who've won the lottery the most. And that's because, we know they all get down to the corner shop or the Sainsbury's or whatever, meal deal and a lottery ticket. It's a classic. And you can see it's paid off here for Rebecca Frater and Nigel Frater, who picked out a pigs in blanket sandwich. I think the most popular meal deal sandwich is a full English breakfast sandwich. But this isn't far off. And I must say I love pigs in blankets, Tony, don't you?
Yeah, I don't never seen a sandwich, pigs in blanket sandwich.
I don't remember. Yeah, obviously at Christmas you go to M&S or whatever and you get the turkey or Pret or something. And I'm sure they have that in Sainsbury's or Tesco.
I'll look out for that next year.
Pigs in blankets, brilliant, isn't it? But yeah, so I've gone with the number 54 there for Rebecca. But it's always good just to get these good news stories to boost us up again about the lottery.
Yeah, I mean scratch cards is another thing that you don't hear a lot about.
We might have to start another podcast.
Just scratch cards.
Scratch cards. But yeah, okay. What about this one? So the next one I saw. So I'm going to ask you, Tony. What do you think this tweet or X post from Tory peer Lord Bethel is alluding to? So you have to guess, right?
Okay.
I hope the executive team are ashamed. It's not illegal, but it's harmful. It'll weigh heavily on their future career prospects. And it's disgusting. They should know better and use their many talents to find less egregious ways to hit their targets.
Okay, so what? It's something that they've done that's
scandalous.
It's not expenses again, is it? No.
No. So this is the Tory peer, Lord Bethel, in the House of Lords, talking about an executive team.
Oh. Executive team. I have no idea.
So it sounds absolutely awful, right? So it's disgusting, it's harmful, it'll weigh heavily on their future career prospects. They should know better.
Wait, is the post... No.
No, it's nowhere near that. What it is, and we come back again to Domino's, your favourite place. So Domino's and Cadbury have teamed up to create a cream egg cookie. I don't know about you. I love mini eggs. That's my favourite Easter treat. I'm not such a massive fan of cream eggs because I find them too sweet and rich. But when they have those little cream eggs in the Cadbury's Heroes, I quite like those. And I'm thinking with the cookie, this could be really nice. I'm not even joking. I think I want to try this. I'm not.
Why is he kicking off about
that? So he is very much in favour of healthy eating, sugar tax and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he's really gone to town on this one. But I looked it up, Tony. 370 calories. So it's not great, 370 calories in one dessert. But it could be worse, couldn't it?
Well, there's different ways you have Cadbury cream eggs, right? Was it one of the things that how do you have yours?
Oh, yeah, was that campaign?
Yeah.
So now inside a cookie.
You could suck it or whatever.
Oh, yeah. What about the cream egg?
Yeah. You can have that after, I guess. But with cream eggs, 370. I mean, there's
Not too bad. I mean, it is. I guess
it's a dessert.
Yeah,
which is a cookie.
Yeah.
He would go nuts in America.
Oh my God,
the type of stuff they got there.
Lord Bethel.
But hey, it's something that I am thinking a lot about lately. Is just watching my calories and its pros and cons.
Haven't you? Yeah.
You know, is he going to have a go at baklava? How calorific is
God,
that?
how many are in a baklava? We had one earlier today.
I had one, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty bad. I mean, it's...
What was it? Come on, do you remember?
Well, it was 300 and something for one piece. Well, it depends what one piece is. But yeah, you know, you've got like, it's honey, but it's more natural, isn't it? Like syrup, it's deep fried,
sugar,
something,
and pastry. There's pastry in it.
Pastry,
I mean, croissant. Croissant is one of the worst in the world. Have you seen that giant croissant they're selling now somewhere in London?
Oh, right.
And I was like, imagine the calories on it. It's a giant croissant. But yeah, so I've gone with the number 31 though, because Easter is on the 31st of March this year, Tony. But yeah, my final one. So this is a good one. It's about the... I think this is what got me thinking about all these philosophical, psychological things this weekend, especially with the topic that we have, things money can't buy. But I read this news as well. People with dark humour are more intelligent, show lower aggression, and resist negative feelings. So have you ever wondered, you know, some people have a much darker sense of humour than others? Well, researchers tested the correlation between a dark sense of humour and intellect by showing 156 people 12 bleak cartoons from The Black Book by German cartoonist Uli Stein. Participants then simply indicated whether they understood the jokes and whether they found it funny. Following IQ test questionnaires about their mood, aggressive tendencies, and educational background, researchers were able to find correlations. What it showed was that people that both comprehended and enjoyed the dark humour jokes tended to have higher intelligence and lower aggressive tendencies than those who did not. Additionally, those who didn't appreciate the dark jokes showed the highest levels of aggression and the worst moods of the group. So, Tony, what do you think about that? I mean, I don't know. I think both of us, we can safely say we probably have got quite a dark sense of humour.
You know what? You just...
This is why I like it.
made me kind of think about, you know, with our topic of week is like things money can't buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Money can't buy a good sense of humour.
Good sense of humour.
Yeah.
Essential. And let's go back to Valentine's Day dating. We talked about these.
Yeah.
For me, possibly the most important thing. And this kind of just sums it up. Dark humour is automatically linked here to intelligence.
Yeah.
So you've ticked off two things there. So if you just go in with a really dark joke, if you're single, you're on a dating app, that's probably the best thing you could possibly do.
Maybe you could show your boss how intelligent you are by telling really dark jokes in the workplace.
Yeah. I think that's a really great idea.
Yeah.
Talk more about that later. Because producer, we with our producer. But yeah, so I just wanted to add to it as well because Claire Brummel, who's an expert in human behaviour, agrees that dark humour can be very helpful in navigating trauma as well, which we talked about earlier. But only if we're actually addressing what we've been through. So you can use dark humour to kind of reflect on serious incidents, maybe difficult incidents in your life. And we're not talking about really dreadful things necessarily, but the death of a loved one. You can actually use that as a defensive shield. Some people can get offended, but actually it can be one way of bringing up a topic that maybe you don't ordinarily want to talk about and just putting a bit of humour to it. I don't know. What do you think?
I totally agree. I mean, you're either going to laugh or you're going to cry, right? And I'd rather laugh.
Yeah. It's good for you.
Definitely.
It's literally good for you.
Yeah.
There's evidence of that as well. So, so I went with the number 12 because they showed 12 bleak cartoons as part of that study.
You know what? I'm glad you shared that because it makes me feel a bit better about myself when I laugh at quite dark stuff.
Yeah.
So clearly it shows that I'm intelligent.
But it's just saying, it's almost, you've got the intelligence to be able to understand the joke.
People jump too quick to being offended.
What makes a good joke is that kind of surprise factor. And actually you've got to be able to understand what is the surprise within the joke.
that's what makes it funny, I guess. Yeah. So if I round off, what are the numbers that I will be picking in this week's lottery draw is 5, 8, 12, 15, 31 and 54. So yeah, those are numbers, and those look rather different from last week's one. So hopefully they'll
a bit more
be
mix.
better.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got only so we got half and half, even and odd.
Yeah, and it goes from right down to the lows of 5 up to the 54. So that's quite a nice range.
A good spread there.
Yeah. So yeah, you start talking about dark humour, and one of the things is that I'm worried about comedy in general. They're stand-up comedians. They're worried about, like, if people are going to get offended all the time and they can't do these jokes, it's like, what's going to be funny these days? Just this really kind of middle of the road type jokes.
Yeah, I mean, too much. I mean, we've got to be able to have dark humour, but can you have dark humour without? I think the argument might be you can have dark humour without marginalising, picking on underrepresented. That's what it might be, and then you have, for example, Ricky Gervais obviously doing this, he's railing against cancel culture and everything.
Yeah.
But then if you actually watch his shows, does he actually say anything that offensive? It's kind of almost like double standard. So I don't know. I don't know, Tony. But it's basically, I think the point is that they're trying to make is, can you be funny without picking on a particular group of people?
Yeah,
particularly
like
an underrepresented group.
Yeah, that's what makes it funny.
Wow.
But I think it's the reason why I like dark humour so much is that because it's
wrong,
it's shocking. That is why, and you got the added element of the because it's part of the punchline that what makes it funny. Because otherwise, you're like, oh, why is that interesting, or why is that so funny? Because you're flipping it on its head. Or so polarising that, there's a reaction.
And by the way, can you have ironic humour?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the other point here.
Yeah. I think, maybe comedians. I mean, you can do comedy that is quite, how do you describe it? Quite innocent, middle, like Michael McIntyre.
But he's not funny.
You don't find him funny?
No, not really.
I think when I first saw his stuff, I was like, no, this is good stuff. It's quite clean. It's nothing too offensive.
I think it's funny. Lee Mack. I haven't seen him do stand-up.
Lee Mack's quite
sharp.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, Jimmy Carr, he is king of dark.
Yeah, but Lee Mack is, what I'm saying, is more like middle of the road, I would say.
He's a bit of he's your bloke type of thing.
Yeah, I quite like him.
He never really... No, he's famous, but...
It's more like Mock the Week. Oh, no, what is it? Would I Lie to You?
I never really watched that.
Yeah, he's funny on that.
What's the other one? He's Lee Evans. I don't really find him funny that much, but he's massive.
But actually, the other guy, David Mitchell, he's very funny.
Wait, is he
Would
East
I Lie
End?
to You?
Is he like an East End guy?
No, he's Peep Show.
Who's that? What?
David Mitchell, the guy from Peep Show.
Oh, right, yeah. He's
probably
funny.
Not that offensive.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely Jimmy Carr. I love his stuff.
I do like him, but again, he's got a bit tame.
Yeah.
I watched him, didn't he do Netflix? And, he said, right, guys, I'm really going to offend you with these next 5 jokes.
Yeah.
And I listened to them, I was like, they're not that offensive, are they?
He's getting on I mean, he looks so different now with the surgery and
but
stuff.
it's almost, maybe you can be offensive by just attacking everybody.
Yeah.
And just do it that way. So you're not biased against anybody in particular.
Yeah, just attack everyone.
Everybody.
Yeah, that's how it should be. Great. I think that brings us to the end of this week's episode, Chris.
Absolutely. Well, all I can say is I think we're onto a winner, and I'm going to try a cream egg cookie very soon indeed.
Yeah, why not? I might as well just order myself a Domino's now, just finally see what all the fuss is about.
Order 10 cream egg cookies and bring 5 to me the next time I see you.
Maybe they've got the secret ingredient in the cookies.
I hope not. I hope they're batch made at the factory before they even turn up at that dastardly pay.
No, I think if Cadbury's involved, I think it's standardised. Yeah, for sure.
But the thing is, Cadbury's, that's another big shame. It was bought out by Kraft, and now it's Mondelez.
Is it chocolate or chocolate flavoured candy? Because American style, right?
No,
it's proper chocolate. I think it is. I don't have noticed a difference.
I know, so it's still good. I'm sure it's still made in the UK or the Cambridge stuff. Yeah.
Right. All right then. So we shall see you next week on
Win Me the Lottery.
Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao.